So what's the most overlooked part of fast, accurate alternate picking? No, it's not the picking motion or pick slanting or the picks you use, etc. In my own experience and from teaching hundreds of students throughout the years, I've found that one of the biggest factors is your fretting hand. So in this lesson I'm going to show you how I overcame this myself and also what has worked for my students. And hopefully this will work for you as well. So I've seen several great guitar players talk about this before. So for example, Paul Gilbert said that way before he started developing his picking technique, he had been playing guitar for 7 or 8 years and he was really good at that, kind of half-picked Van Halen type fast legato stuff. So he said his left hand was actually really good already. So when he started working on the picking, he progressed quite quickly. And I've also seen Guthrie Govan talk about him thinking back to his teaching days and how a lot of students of his would be blaming the right hand when they had a picking problem, which is logical, but it's actually the left hand that has more things that can go wrong with it. And Paul Gilbert, being awesome Paul Gilbert, he said that the left hand is like your steering and your right hand is the gas. And if you can't steer, don't hit the gas. And I think that's like the perfect summation of this problem. And a good test you can do for yourself is to see if you do the easiest thing you can do with the right hand, which would be to just pick on a single string. If you have trouble coordinating the left hand and the right hand, you know that it's most likely a timing issue in the left hand more so than the right. Now this might be super obvious for a lot of you, but when I was starting to practice a lot, when I began playing guitar and I was really into alternate picking stuff, I loved Al Di Meola, Paul Gilbert and all that kind of stuff. I would spend most of my time working on alternate picking because that's the sound that I really was going for at the time. And then I just added some legato stuff just because, maybe I should be able to do that as well. And actually I was kind of dumb back then. Maybe I'm still a bit dumb, but I remember one lesson that I had with a sort of a blues guy who was really into Robin Ford. And I came to his lesson and I was basically picking everything. So instead of doing I would go, and he was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm alternate picking it." Why? Because that's harder. And basically he told me, "That's stupid." He probably was even, used even ruder words that I needed to hear as, 13, 14-year-old dumbass, quite frankly. So that was the start of it. And when I didn't really realize that, oh, this is because, if I work on the legato, I will be able to pick faster as well. I just realized that, okay, it's more to guitar than just picking everything. And just because something is hard, it doesn't mean that it's better. So that was a good lesson to learn. So once I started working more on the legato, everything started to get easier, even the picking stuff. And I could even feel it afterwards. And you probably will feel that as well if you try the workout that I'm going to show you, that it just feels lighter somehow. It feels like it's less resistance when you play. When your synchronization improves, which it will do, because your left hand will be able to actually play better in time, everything will feel easier and smoother. So I think working on this is crucial for everyone. And you also get a really good legato technique by working on this. So it's a win-win. So even if you're this hardcore alternate picker type player and you hate the sound of legato, then still working on it will help your picking more than not doing it, because you need to get your left hand control up. And the best way to do that I know at least, is to work on the legato stuff. I've mentioned this type of practicing before, and it's basically legato but with a little twist. We're not going to do any pull-ups, we're going to do all hammers. And why all hammers are so good in this case is because it really mimics what the left hand is doing when you're just alternate picking. So basically when you work on all hammers, it's just all hammer-ons, right? So you need to make sure that the timing is absolutely on point. When you go from left to right, it's less of an issue because whatever you do here doesn't really matter, because I can do whatever I want with this finger because here's where the sound is produced. But when you go from right to left, that's where it gets interesting, because whether you use legato or you pick everything, you still need to get this finger off before you hit this finger, right? But you can't do too early either, because then you're gonna get some weird noise or an open string. So it really needs to be perfectly timed. And that's regardless if you do all hammers here, or if you pick it. So that's where a lot of people have trouble with just descending picking stuff. And usually what happens here, why the descending picking feels different or sloppier, is because you don't have the correct timing in the left hand, because it's very, very timing based here. Whereas when you go from left to right, you can get away with a little bit more sloppiness, but I think obviously if you want to play perfectly cleanly, that should also be as perfect as possible. But you hear it way clearer when you go from right to left. All right, so here's the workout that I suggest that you do. And I would do this every day because it's a good warm-up as well. And you can do it in several different ways, but I like to do it using quintuplets, which is 5 notes per beat. So here's the basic workout, and it will make a huge difference in your playing. If you want the enhanced version, you can find an extended lesson on my Patreon. You have the link in the description, and there you'll get all the tabs, the full workout, including the enhanced version, and the video will also have no ads. So that's another benefit if you don't like ads. So with that said, let's just get into the actual basic workout here. So don't worry, if you don't want to join the Patreon, that's fine. Still do this workout because it will help you so much. It's just that you have a little bit extra on my Patreon. So with that said, let's get into it here. So we have 2 fingers at a time first. And the basic combination we have here is 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3, 2, 4, 3, 4. And now we're gonna just do trills basically, but no pull-offs, right? All hammers. And I usually do this or put some sort of sock or whatever, just something to mute the string so I can focus on the actual technique here, so I don't have to, listen for any extraneous noise. So, because what we're doing here, we're just working on the timing of the left hand. So, if I do 1 and 2, for example, it's gonna sound like this. And you're gonna find that you might go back a bit too early here, and then you won't get a sound at all, or a very low sound volume wise. The way to get around that is not to smack the guitar. Instead, find exactly how much you actually need to push down your finger to get the sound that you want. And you probably find that it's not that much. You can be quite relaxed when you do this. So instead, focus on the timing, because it's the lack of timing that gives you all the trouble with the left hand, right, or the fretting hand. So what I like to do to help with that and make it a little bit challenging as well is to use an odd number. You can do 3 notes per beat, or you can do 5 notes. I like to do because you get a bit more reps, and it's quite tricky. And I'm gonna use my metronome here. Also linked in the description, but you can just count to 5 if you want. Basically what I want to do here is go like this. So that's the first part of it. So I went through all combinations, but I did it like this. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically I turn the beat around because it's an odd number, right? So that's quite challenging if you haven't done it before, but that's also why it's so good for your timing. So I do that basically twice, so 2 beats. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I go to the next combination right away. But all hammers, right? And I go through all the fingers in order: 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 2, 3, 2, 4, 3, 4. Then, without stopping, ideally, I mean, in the beginning, just stop if you need to, it doesn't really matter. But to get some more of a flow into your practice session, go straight back and do the same combinations again, but now we're gonna lead with the higher finger of each combination. So instead of starting with 1, 2, 1, 2, we're gonna start with 2, 1, 2, 1. And then we're gonna switch to 3, 1, 3, 1, and then 4, 1, 4, 1, 3, 2, 4, 2, 4, 3. Then we're down with the E string, go to the A string, do the same thing, now starting on the index fingers, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 4. And then you turn that around as well, so you go 2, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1. So you go through all 6 combinations in 2 ways. And you do that on all 6 strings. right? And just remember, if you're going to get some duds here where the notes don't sound, but that's part of it, because that's basically your way of knowing that you actually need to work on this exercise, because the timing is a bit off. And remember, that's not only gonna affect you in this kind of a weird all hammer situation, it's going to affect you with the picking as well, because if your timing is off, your synchronization will always be off. So that's why we're doing this. Just a reminder. All right, so that's the first part of it. And then we're going to go back, and now we're going to divide the hand into 3 finger combinations. Then we have 4 of those. We got 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4. And still a group of 5 here, so it's going to be a little bit weird at first. But basically, it's going to go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we're back to the index finger again. And when I say back, it's because the accent will be keep moving. Basically, the downbeat will be click, click, click. And then you're back on the index finger again. And that's where you change the fingering to 1, 2, 4, and then you do 1, 3, 4, and then 2, 3, 4. So that's going to sound like this. And then you're going to turn around after you've done 2, 3, 4, and now we're going to do 3, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 4, 3, 1, 4, 3, 2 in the same way. And it's going to sound like this. Again, you repeat this on all 6 strings or 7 strings. However many strings you have, you repeat it on all strings. So once we've done that, we have one more thing to do, and that's going to be 4 fingers. So for the 4 finger variation, the accent is actually going to move in order. It's going to go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then to the second finger, third, and fourth. And then we're going to turn it around. And this is going to happen automatically. You just simply repeat this. And then you do that in groups of 5, and then the accent's going to be moving in that fashion. So it sounds like this. And so on up the strings. So in terms of the exercise, this one is a bit different because there's no real good way to change into the descending version without stopping. So basically you do the ascending version on all strings, and then you do the descending version. So the descending version will sound like this. And so on. Also, as a patron, you get a backing track that you can use where you basically have the quintuplets as an MP3 file at 40 BPMs, which is what I'm using here, and which I suggest that you start by practicing at that tempo initially, because you really just want to focus on getting this as tight as possible. So give this routine a try, and don't be angry with yourself if you find that it's difficult. That just tells you that you really need to work on this. So a good reframe that I have for myself when I find stuff that doesn't really work in my playing, I actually get quite happy, because then I have a really clear path of what I should do to get visibly better, right? Because sometimes you just sit there and practice the same old things, and maybe you get a little bit better, but it's not even that noticeable. But when you find something that you really suck at, then you have a very, very good chance of improving quite quickly. So it's not a bad thing to find this stuff hard or... So reframe that sucker. If you find something that's bad, be happy, and then just get to work on that.